The night everything broke, she didn't know it yet. She was laughing, actually laughing, at a joke she would never remember, sitting in a car that didn't belong to her, beside a man who wasn't her husband. If someone had told her that this single moment would cost her sleep, peace, and the meaning of loyalty forever, she would have stepped out of that car and walked home in the rain. But life doesn't warn you before the fall. It only shows you the damage afterward. She was married young, the way many people marry when love feels enough and promises feel permanent. Her husband, calm and dependable, had been her safe place for years. He wasn't perfect, no one is, but he was honest, loyal, and deeply committed. His best friend, on the other hand, was everything loud that her life had quietly missed. Charming, attentive, always present during dinners, birthdays, and long conversations that stretched late into the night. At first, it felt harmless. He was family, after all. The man her husband trusted more than anyone else. Loneliness doesn't always come from being alone. Sometimes it grows while lying next to someone every night. Her husband had become distant, not cruel, just tired from work, from responsibility, from life. Conversations shortened. Touch became routine. She told herself it was just a phase. She told herself she was strong enough to handle it. What she didn't tell herself was how much she needed to feel seen again. His best friend noticed everything. The pause in her voice. The way her smile faded quicker than before. He listened without rushing to fix things, and that made all the difference. Late-night messages turned into long calls. Long calls turned into shared secrets. Each time she crossed a line, she promised herself it was the last. Each time, the line moved a little further away. The night it happened didn't feel dramatic. No storm, no loud music, no sudden passion. Just silence, eye contact, and a choice she didn't stop herself from making. The moment passed, but the weight of it stayed. When she went home, her husband was asleep. She stood there watching him breathe, and for the first time in her life, she felt like a stranger in her own house. Guilt didn't arrive immediately. First came confusion, then justification, then fear. She avoided mirrors because she didn't recognize the woman looking back. The man she betrayed trusted both of them blindly. Family dinners continued. Jokes were shared. Smiles were forced. Every laugh felt like another lie layered on top of the first. But guilt has a way of growing teeth. It bit her at random moments, while cooking, while folding laundry, while hearing her husband talk about the future with hope in his voice. Sleep abandoned her. Food lost its taste. Her phone became both temptation and torture. The best friend wanted more. She wanted it to stop. Yet stopping didn't erase what had already been done. One evening, her husband talked about loyalty. Not accusingly, not suspiciously, just casually, as if life itself had prompted the topic. He said betrayal doesn't always come from strangers, sometimes it comes from the people you trust the most. She felt her chest tighten. For a second, she thought he knew. For a second, the truth almost escaped her mouth. But fear won. Silence won. The guilt finally broke her when she saw her husband defending his best friend during an argument with someone else. The loyalty in his voice shattered her. She realized then that the real damage wasn't the act, it was the theft of trust, something that could never fully be returned once taken. The confession didn't happen the way she imagined. There was no perfect moment, no gentle let-in. One ordinary day, she sat across from her husband and told him the truth with shaking hands and a breaking voice. The room felt too small for the pain that followed. He didn't shout. He didn't cry at first. He just went quiet. That silence hurt more than anger ever could. When he finally spoke, his words were slow and careful. He asked questions she didn't want to answer but did anyway. Each answer felt like reopening a wound. The betrayal wasn't just hers, it belonged to his best friend too. Two people he trusted had destroyed the same thing from different sides. He asked her why. She didn't blame him. She didn't blame loneliness. She owned it. She said she was weak. She said she made a choice. That honesty didn't fix anything, but it mattered. The days that followed were heavy. Trust was gone, replaced by uncertainty. The best friend was cut off completely. Years of friendship ended without closure. Her husband moved out for a while, not to punish her, but to breathe. She stayed alone in the house they once called home, surrounded by memories that now felt like accusations. Guilt transformed into something deeper, responsibility. She began to understand that love isn't just a feeling, it's a discipline. Forgiveness, she learned, isn't guaranteed just because you're sorry. Some mistakes change the shape of relationships forever. Months later, They talked again. Slowly, carefully, not about reconciliation, but about healing. He told her he didn't know if he could ever trust her the same way. She told him she didn't expect him to. What she wanted was accountability, to become someone who would never make that choice again, no matter the cost. Whether they stayed together or not became less important than the lesson she carried forward. Betrayal doesn't begin in the bedroom. It begins when boundaries are ignored and honesty is delayed. Guilt isn't just punishment, it's a teacher, if you're brave enough to listen. The story doesn't end with a perfect reunion or a dramatic goodbye. It ends with growth, humility, and a truth that hurts but heals. Love demands integrity, even when no one is watching. And once you break that, the hardest forgiveness you'll ever seek is your own.